What it does, cuz it is your man, the MYTH, the myth, the legend himself, the underground wolf, the downtown brown, the man in black, bad wolf. It's coming for you. Three little piggies. Better run and hide, because we done lit some fires and we finna light up the sky. Let's get into it. As always, guys, hit that bell, like, subscribe. It is your main man himself. Let's get into it. Just want to let you guys know I appreciate you. If you are listening to this, I appreciate you. And you should appreciate yourself because you are an awesome, amazing, wonderful, intelligent, positive person doing your best every day. That's all anybody can ask. That's all I ask. Let's get into it. As always, you guys can go to blacksite32.com, jamesclovett.com, and my social medias will be there. Please be careful of anybody out there charging too much for services, information, belittling you, hiding their identity, not showing you the proof is in the pudding. Be careful because those people are out there and they get a little taste of this fame or power or infamy and it goes right to their head. All right. So, with that being said, let's do this damn thing. Do that damn thing. All right. So, today's lesson class is what is the phrase and meaning behind the word, or the phrase rather, term of art? What does that mean? All right. Well, I'm going to have the lovely AI assistant let you know.
A term of art is a word or phrase that has a specialized legal meaning that may be different from its ordinary dictionary meaning. In law, courts often treat a term of art according to its established legal definition, not necessarily how an average person would use the word in everyday conversation.
Ah, so we're learning something here today, class. This is why you guys should be sharing my videos. And by the way, for the people who asked, can they share my videos? Yes. I'm not going to, come after you or whatever else, as long as you're not like sharing it in a negative way. Even if it's like a little bit like you don't necessarily agree, that's fine. As long as you ain't talking smack about me and mine and it's more or less just about the work, that's fine. And yes, you can make money off of them. You can monetize them. I will get a piece of it, of course, because that's how YouTube works. But yeah, share the videos on your platform, whatever, y'all want to make some money? Copy the videos, download them, upload them, whatever you got to do, and monetize them, and I get a piece. That's it. I make money, y'all make money. It's pretty simple. A lot of people on YouTube don't throw that out there. I'm not worried about it. All right. It really only helps bring more awareness to this cause. And have you guys noticed my subscribers kind of stopped and kind of is hanging right here at 90,000? I'm just saying, it seems a little weird. We're 6 months in. I was getting 1,000 subscribers a month, and now we're at the height of this, and we're getting less than, a couple hundred a month. Just saying, weird things be happening out there behind the scenes and curtains. But anyway, I digress. So you guys have just learned something that I've known for a long time, but that's why you guys watch these videos is that certain words or phrases have specialized legal meaning, not lawful. Remember, there's a difference between legal and lawful. Legal is what's allowed within the jurisdiction of America, generally within a private bubble called the public corporation, because this does not mean the same thing as lawful, which are your true rights, freedoms, and liberty, loosely said. So they're saying that there are words and phrases that have specialized meaning. Huh. All those people are like, no, the bad wolf doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, tell all the losers that. Like, why are you even on my platform if you don't like what I'm saying? You're going to let me know. You're going to give me a piece of your mind. Ooh, no. Oh, no. you know? So I'm not worried about it. I don't lose sleep over it. Let's keep it moving.
Conversation. Basic definition. A legal term of art is a word or phrase that has acquired a precise and particular meaning through statutes, regulations, case law, or legal tradition. Why it matters. The same word can have ordinary meaning, common speech; legal meaning, term of art. Courts frequently distinguish between the two. Examples: 1. Person. Ordinary meaning, a living man, woman, or human being. Legal meaning, often a term of art depending on the statute. Person can include natural persons, corporations, partnerships, trusts, associations, government entities. For example, many statutes define person broadly to include companies and organizations.
Okay. So she just told you ordinary people hear the word person. So this would be your nationals hearing the word person. And you think it's a living man, a woman, a human being. And that is correct. But legally in the courts, that word person is a term of art. They have used artistic creativity on the word. It means something different in their jurisdiction, their courtroom, their contracts. If they specifically do not mention this is commercial, this is contract, this is a violation of the law, they have to let you know, or as a bare minimum, set up things to be thus so obvious that a person of average intelligence can tell that you're entering into a contract or that the word is being used as a term of art, meaning not in the ordinary word and way underneath we people in Webster's dictionary have known it to be. As much as I hate this, yes, the word person in their world can still yet mean a natural person. However, if you are ever to argue this, you can say, well, this said this person must appear. Which person? You're not delineating what type of person you are requesting here in court for this ticket on this summons. Identify it, because we know that corporations can only really deal with corporations, as the natural person is superior to the corporation, which is a dead thing.
Organizations. 2. Vehicle. Ordinary meaning, something used for transportation. Legal meaning, may be specifically defined by statute. A statute might define vehicle as every device by which a person or property may be transported upon a highway. That definition could include things not ordinarily thought of as automobiles. 3. Driver. Ordinary meaning, someone operating a car. Legal meaning, often defined by state transportation statutes. Many states define driver as every person who drives or is in actual physical control of a vehicle. The statutory definition governs within that statute. 4. Resident. Ordinary meaning, someone who lives somewhere. Legal meaning can vary dramatically. For example, tax law resident, voting resident, tuition resident, probate resident. A person may be a resident for one purpose and not another. 5. Income. Ordinary meaning, money received. Legal meaning, a highly developed tax law term shaped by statutes and court decisions. The legal definition may differ from what a layperson thinks of as income. 6.
All right. So here's what the AI, because I didn't specifically ask it to do, and I already made a video on this. The word resident is a term of art, and res okay, is a form closely associated with the term reg or register or regis, which means to render onto the king. Rex, the T Rex, it's where it's associated with. Render onto the king. So to register something is to give to the king. That's why they want you to. So who's the king? The state, the DMV. Register, to register it. So to res is also Latin, and it means to erase or to remove, to place, to take from one side to another. So within the word resident is to reside ent. So to reside and enter a different jurisdiction. Or you can break it up like this: to res your identity, to erase or redo your identity and to bring it over to another side. This is a term of art. Who in their right mind would know this? Well, other than me, but I never claimed to be in my right mind. That's why you should never just listen to somebody on YouTube, even me. Do your own research. Educational information only. No patent pending. Non belligerent, non combatant, treaty with the United States. Lord of Levitica. Private judge. Attorney in fact. National of the United States. Okay, you get it. So anyway, so what are they doing down here? So it says, for example, a tax law resident, voting res identity, tuition res ident, probate resident. At the end of all of this is also falling underneath administrative and public law. They own all that. By the time you get down here to be a voter or tuition resident, you've contracted with them multiple times. You're using their words. You voluntarily did these things. There's no law that says that you have to pay taxes as a national, only as a U.S. citizen. The legal person has to. And you're doing work in the legal person's name, and you don't know how to use it properly to either to be taxable, well, that you do, or how to use it in such a way that you have no tax obligation. So yeah, they find you to then be a ward of the state, property of theirs, the state. Citus, property of the city. You are age of majority over 18, but you are not competent. Not to say it like this, but people who are special needs, who are functional out there, but they don't get concepts, they get taken advantage of. So the city, the state, the system, that these trustees are tasked with protecting them, doing for them. They are under parens patriae. The city, the state, the government is your parent. Ladies, this is why on the birth certificate at the hospital, they ask you to claim yourself to be an informant, meaning you just dropped the baby off at their step, their institution. You have zero right, basically, but you have control, or how should I say, you have rights to take care of them, but as their trustee, though you're taking care of your own offspring, but to them it's a child, which denotes property. The combination of two pair of renters, corporations, entities, your all caps names, coming together and creating a product. And now you just registered your offspring, turned it into a child. Now it's a product of theirs. And you are charged with caretaking. I understand if you need to put people on child support, it's what it's there for, but understand they're playing you. And then you're playing that dude. Why? Because you or him, you both made bad decisions. Income. We now know that income means profit or gain. When you're working on a normal job, that is not profit or gain. Corporations make profit and gain off of what is it? Winning the either winning the lottery or your 401k, stocks, bonds, crypto, things like that. If you didn't work for it directly, it's income. Employee is a term of art.
A term of art is a word or phrase that has a specialized legal meaning that may be different from its.
Okay, we already covered that. Where were we? Resident income employee.
6. Employee. Ordinary meaning, someone who works for another. Legal meaning can be determined by specific statutory tests such as common law control test, IRS test, labor law test. Different laws define employee differently. Court recognition of terms of art. The Black's Law Dictionary explains that a term of art is a word or phrase having a specific, precise meaning in a given specialty apart from its ordinary meaning. The United States Code and state codes frequently contain sections that begin, for purposes of this chapter, followed by special definitions that convert ordinary words into statutory terms of art. Two important legal principles. 1. Definitions control. If a statute defines a term, that definition usually controls. Example: motor vehicle means. Once defined, the court generally applies the statutory definition within that law. 2. Undefined terms.
Okay, so we know that a motor vehicle is an operation. Anytime you see the word operation, that's a commercial term. It's a statutory term. It means you're using your vehicle has been registered to them. It's no longer an automobile. It's still your vehicle, but they now have some juris or jurisdiction, law, code over it. You cannot just use it as you see fit, but you can use it for private things while still yet it exists under public jurisdiction. This is why the term private citizen means something then different than private person. A private person means you're on the public side, but you have right to privacy while on the public side, like using a public bathroom. It's not your bathroom, but it's more private than the hallway. And then there's private citizen or private individual, meaning you're at your own house using your own bathroom. Motor vehicle means corporation, corporate, commercial, taxable, under their domain and jurisdiction, codes, rules, and regulations. Not the same as an automobile.
A term of art is a word or phrase that has a court recognition of terms of art. The Black's Law Dictionary explains that a term of art is a word or phrase having a specific, precise meaning in a given specialty apart from its ordinary meaning.
So they use Black's Law Dictionary. So Black's Law Dictionary must contain terms of art. Terms of art are words or phrases that have specific, precise meanings in a given specialty apart from its ordinary meaning. Who this to me constitutes fraud. You are using words and phrases against me that I don't know the information about what they really mean. This is why they want you to have a lawyer. Okay, then you get a lawyer, but then you or an attorney and you waive your rights to the fact that you're saying you're not competent. That's a trap. That's entrapment. I shouldn't even be pulled into your jurisdiction. Oh, wait, You guys pulled me in partially when I was a baby, and then my dumbass, your dumbass, decided to get a driver's license and register your house and your kids and your whatever else, and then that's what happened. They'll come at you and say, "Well, I thought you were competent. I thought you said you knew what you were doing." And you'll say, "Well, yeah, I mean, I did, but I didn't know all this." Oh, so then you're not competent. Okay, so then we need to administrate you. You see how the game goes?
Meaning. The United States Code and state codes frequently contain sections that begin, "For purposes of this chapter," followed by special definitions that convert ordinary words into statutory terms of art. Two important legal principles. 1. Definitions control. If a example, motor vehicle, once defined. 2. Undefined terms usually get ordinary meaning. When a statute.
So if you see a word and they don't have a definition for it, it's in a variable position for you to argue what it is. They'll say, well, let's look at that word being used by case law. Let's see if we can look at the legal intent of it, how it's used and phrased. What are the common understandings of this word? What does the dictionary say? And usually they go to Black's Law for that.
Statute does not dictionary definition, common case law to deter practical rule. When analyzing a law, always ask, is this word specifically defined in the statute? Has a court interpreted it as a term of art? Does the legal meaning differ from the ordinary meaning?
Now, keep in mind that, as you see here, many legal disputes arise because one side is using the ordinary meaning while the law is using a specialized term of art. This usually doesn't happen because most people don't know to argue the definition of certain words. You cannot be on the side of the road trying to argue the specialized use of the words, a term of art, with a police officer. They, no offense, are not trained in such. They are ignorant. Most of them do not know. Most people don't even know what I'm teaching right here. This is the legal level of the law. This is the basement. Most of y'all be living in the attic and shit. Judges and lawyers and magistrates, they're on the main floor of the house, but even a lot of them do not know the legal level of certain words and things, which is the basement. There is nothing more foundational than that. I mean, there's a little bit more, but y'all ain't ready for that. Maybe I'll do some classes on that one day. The smaller, the lower you get, the more powerful things are when you know what they are and how to use them. You start getting into quantum syntax, grammar, and things of that nature. Now you're in the minutia, the smallest quantifiable particles thereof. So I said, how could this be used to win in court?
Many legal. This is what. How could this. A term of art argument can sometimes help in court, but only when it is tied to a recognized legal doctrine, the actual text of a statute, and the facts of the case. By itself, arguing that a word has a special meaning is usually not enough to win. Where term of art arguments can be effective. 1. Challenging a statutory element. If the government or opposing party must prove a specific legal element, and that element uses a defined term, you can argue that the facts do not fit the legal definition. Example: a statute applies only to an employee. The issue becomes, what does the statute define as an employee? Does the evidence actually meet that definition? If not, an essential element may be missing. 2. Challenging jurisdiction. Sometimes jurisdiction depends on a defined term. Examples include resident, domiciliary, employer, consumer, business, commercial activity. If the legal definition is not satisfied, jurisdiction or applicability of the law may be challenged. 3. Challenging administrative enforcement. Many administrative agencies rely on highly defined terms. Examples: taxpayer, licensee, registrant, carrier. Dealer. The question becomes whether the person or activity actually falls within the statutory definition being enforced. 4. Ambiguity arguments. If a statute uses a term that is unclear, courts may apply rules of construction. Examples include strict construction of penal statutes.
You can also motion for clarity or clarification on anything. Okay. Now it's going to tell you what usually does not work and the stronger way, blah, blah, blah. So I dropped down here and I said, is there a book that contains words of art or commercial term words and their definitions? Now, why would I ask this? Because if they have a book that contains a whole listing of words of art, that book is commercial in nature. If they have a book that's commercial terms, then we know that's all contractual, regulated stuff. So when you see those specific phrases or terms, codes, words, then you know what you're entering into. So here it says, yes, there are several well-known references that contain legal terms of art, specialized terminology, commercial law definitions. Oh, well, what are they? Black's Law. So you're telling me the courts use this, but also in that book it contains legal terms, Latin legal phrases, legal, commercial, oh, and some constitutional stuff. Otherwise, it jumps back into property, contract, and legal. So a majority of it isn't constitutional. So Black's Law is not a it's not strong in the Constitution. This tells you that a majority of the things in Black's Law are all legal jurisdiction, Latin uses, commercial, property law, contract law, things that they wrote, we don't have to participate in, and other legal. So once again, their stuff. And what are examples of these words? When you see the word person, property, corporation, license, franchise, privilege, driver's license privilege, public jurisdiction, domicile, commerce, vehicle, driver. These are all words. If you see them, they are terms of art. They've got Latin origin or association, legal meanings, meaning these all have different definitions than what you think they are. Valentine's Law Dictionary. I don't use that one, but apparently that's one out there too. Bouvier's. I do have Bouvier's, though I really use it on here. Words and phrases, also theirs. Income, income check, income tax. You made income, resident, vehicle, property, commerce, motor vehicle, America's jurisprudence. These would be the green books you see in my videos on my shelves. Though it's not a dictionary, but a legal encyclopedia. Corpus American, Corpus Juris Secundum. Also, what I have up there. Commercial specific sources, the UCC. So when you see words like debtor, creditor, security interest, holder, negotiable instrument, deposit account, consumer, buyer in an ordinary course, those are commercial terms. They regulate that. This is not America then. They're in the American family, but they're in their own bubble. Welcome to Diddy's Playhouse. You're now locked into Diddy's house for the next 72 hours, or as long as you have a driver's license or you have a job or employment in the public. You're going nowhere. Bonesaw. I got you for 3 whole minutes. You've contracted into their jurisdiction. You're not getting out of Diddy's house until you either wake up or he's ready to let you go. That's it. So you still own your stuff. You are the owner of it. But the moment that you register it with them, record it with them, or more so register than record, but Still yet, once they know about it, they're going to execute some of their power over it and within it. Term of art is a word or phrase that has a specialized legal, didn't say lawful, didn't say normal, but a special legal meaning. All right, guys, that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bad Wolf's out. Hopefully, you guys liked that. If you did, hit that bell, like, subscribe, share the video. Thanks for supporting. Have a great day. Avita Zane.